What's up, y'all? This is Ed Newbins, Motivated Life. I have some special guests in the house. I have Debrena Jackson Gandy, and I have Joseph Gandy also in the house. It's his first podcast, so got him in the house. This is the first time, so special occasion. And Debrena, we've been on a podcast before, but it wasn't part of my podcast, so it's my first time having you in the studio, actually.
Honored.
So definitely happy to have you guys here. Motivated Life, we're definitely trying to grow, and so going to 2024, wanted to get Debrena in here so we can get it kicking off early. So we'll be debuting this in the beginning of the year. But yeah, it's a blessing to have you guys in here. I appreciate you guys coming through.
Absolutely.
So we have a couple subjects to talk about today. But I want to say, first of all, congratulations. You guys got 30 years in the game of marriage. Yeah, that's a big thing.
A lot didn't make it through the
31.
January 1st.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
January 2nd.
January 2nd. Okay.
31, yeah.
Oh, so you guys about to flip it right now.
Hey.
Okay.
But yeah, especially because so many people did not make it through the pandemic, so we do not take it for granted that we're still here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I guess I want to ask, like, how do you do that? Because I know I'm thinking about, like, my longest person I was dating was like 6 years. So I don't even know how I could go to 10 and 15 and 20 and 30. Like, how did you guys get to that point? What kind of, like, what inspired you guys to get married, first of all, and then to be able to make that work for this long?
Wow, let's see what inspired me. Well, what inspired me, it transpired really quick because most everybody that knew me were stunned when they found out I was getting married.
Oh, really? Okay.
They were stunned. It was almost it was a talk around the town. Come to find out, Joe Gandy's getting married.
Oh, okay.
Joe Gandy's getting married. What? Joe Gandy's getting married. So we met June 26th of 92.
Okay.
And we were married January 1st of 93.
Oh, wow.
Right. So that's what, 6 months, close to 6 months.
Wow, okay.
And so when we met at a house party.
Yep.
And she approached me to dance. Me and my boy, we had just got to the house party and we just getting settled in, had a plate, had my drink, had my cocktail ready. So we just warming up, right?
Yeah.
She comes in, asks me to dance. And so, okay, I put my stuff down, went and danced. Yeah. And man, we were on the dance floor pretty much the rest of the night.
Is that the house parties were there? Because I remember the house parties I used to go to. We used to have a little rag and you sweat. You sweat at the house parties because you're dancing so hard.
Right. It was similar to that.
They
had
good ventilation.
Yeah, they had good ventilation. They had good ventilation, but so we were dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to have my little conversation going, right? But the music's loud, and so it's kind of hard to hear. But I noticed that she was paying close attention to everything I was saying, right? I'm like, wow, she's like really listening, paying attention to what she's hanging on darn near every word, right? And so I knew something was different. I said, she's different, right? And so we kept dancing, man. The end of the night came. We were walking and strolling up and down 23rd, and it was on 23rd Marion.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the early 90s, they were still doing drive-bys.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that's
yeah,
like we were in Jamaica somewhere,
Like
strolling
we were
on the white sand
right?
beaches. It was hilarious walking down 23rd.
So I knew she was different. I knew she was different, and in those 6 months, I knew that's it. I'm done looking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, we're not so lucky.
Not everybody is. I recognize. Yeah, that doesn't happen to everybody. That's a rare story.
It definitely is.
And to be able to say 31 years later, that's not normal. That's not regular.
Right.
I recognize that. I got a special one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend that.
Say again?
I wouldn't recommend that.
What?
Don't try that at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you know what I'm saying? 6 months.
Yeah, we messed up because it's like a lot of us. At least when I think about it, it's like, man, we probably missed our person back in the days because we wasn't in tune with ourselves and, knowing what we wanted, per se.
Right.
So I think a lot of people now at this age are like, they've gone through so much. They're trying to unlearn trauma or whatever it is.
Yes.
The dating scene.
Right.
And don't trust each other. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then as for me, it's kind of funny because the friend that he came to the party with, I guess he was peeping me too.
Uh-oh.
So throughout the night, They were like, who could dance, who could, talk to me next, who could be, because it was a adult birthday party, so they had some kind of risque games, right? So who could be my partner for the games, and so I said, I'm just gonna see how this fleshes out, because they were vying,
Yeah.
and the charm
On guard.
won out. Oh my goodness, this one right here. And he stayed calm and collected,
Nice.
cool, like he is now.
Yeah.
The whole night, like, I know I'm going to emerge the victor. And I'm like, check this brother out. And the rest is history.
What happened to the guy that lost? Like, did he ever
His
find
best
something?
No,
friend.
yeah, that was my best buddy. Yeah, I mean, it was.
They're still best friends.
Yeah, we still
okay.
cool. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
He's married to
But
a
it's-
wonderful woman.
Good story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what was it?
yeah.
Good outcome.
But it was friendly competition.
Yeah.
Right. No hating.
Yeah.
You don't say nothing about me. I don't say nothing about you. May
Yeah.
the best man win.
Okay.
And that's basically
That's
what it
what's
was. Yeah, yeah. So we cool. It's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah, we actually all hang out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad he's
And
not
they're
like,
still
I'm glad
married.
He's not down and out like
Nah.
No, none of those stories.
it's like his whole life just.
Yeah, nah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Nah, we laugh and joke. We laugh and joke about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like, so you also have 3 lovely daughters, and you guys are setting an example for them too. So how do you see that your guys' marriage helping them in comparison to what you see out in the world in general for your daughters?
It's about, to me, it's about setting an example.
Yeah.
And giving them something. So you can say a lot of things and tell them a lot of things, but really they're going to respond to what they see.
Right.
And so, trying to be a good role model, good example, and showing them really how a man's supposed to treat a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they see that and that's ingrained in them, then quite naturally when it comes time to, venture out and do their own thing, that's going to be in them.
Right. They've seen it.
They've seen it. Yeah, right. And they know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I've been hammering the message, right? Because they're gonna go more off of what they see versus what they say.
Right.
But I'm still gonna say, you know what I mean? I'm still gonna hammer that in,
Right.
what to look for, what to stay away from,
Right.
signs, indicators, red flags.
Okay.
See this, run. Don't
yeah.
believe this. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I done heard it all before.
Yeah. You know
And
the
so
game. Yeah.
I know the game, right?
Yeah.
And so with that combination, hopefully, it's in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always think about when you say that, I'm thinking of what's the movie? Will Smith and what's this
Hitch.
movie? Not Hitch, but him and Martin Lawrence. Bad Boys.
Oh.
Bad
You
Boys.
remember the scene in Bad Boys where the young boy's taking Martin Lawrence's daughter out, and then he goes to the door. Will Smith's character goes to the door, and he's just like basically threatening the dude.
Right. Yeah.
Have you had to do that? Like,
I haven't had to do.
business?
I haven't had to do it like so blatantly, but it's been because I've had good fortune. I really haven't had to do that.
Yeah.
There was one instance where I had to kind of run a dude off. You know what I mean? There was one instance where I had to run him off, but we've been blessed.
That's good.
We've been blessed. So there's been nothing crazy, and
Don't bring no knuckleheads home.
no, they haven't brought any knuckleheads home, and haven't talked about any knuckleheads, and
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, that's good. That's
So
good.
far, it ain't over till it's over. But
Yeah.
But I think the other thing too is when children have parents that like each other and love each other
Right.
and display it, and so they see it. If we said nothing, they see it. They know that this unit is tight. It actually calms their mind.
Right.
I think it calms their bodies. They can relax. They know that they have, a lot of times they talk about parents around the kids, but we really are kind of in the nucleus, and they know they're around a nucleus that is tight and not going to be crumbling.
Right.
And it gives them stability, confidence, clarity, certainty, hope that they could create something like that, knowing in the flesh that there are quality, wonderful Black men because their dad was that.
Right.
Regardless of what they see in the media, what they hear, the stories of other people, like, listen, I got a living example that I can touch, and hug right here. So I know it's real. And I think that's why also they've attracted quality young black men, because a couple of them are in serious relationships right now.
Nice.
And it's impressed me. I'm like, I wish I could be that confident and articulate and clear, and, making it real clear how we're going to be interacting and what flies and what doesn't. When I was their age, I was still kind of mumbling and stumbling through stuff.
Right. Yeah.
They're just as articulate, and men appreciate a quality woman who, right?
Yeah.
That demonstrates that she gets her worth. And so the brothers are cool with it because they know they've chosen, as I like to say, thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. Thoroughbreds.
How do you think, like, because I'm thinking about what you said, because I've also been in your mentality class.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember your mentality class. In that scenario, it was mostly, I think, about 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah.
Dudes from different age groups. Some are married, some weren't. Some have been divorced, some with kids, all those different things.
Yep.
I think I might have been the youngest one in that group at the time. And but we've all gone through similar experiences. And so one of the things I remember from that was that, how do we pick women? We didn't really have
a good woman.
Yeah, we didn't really have that clear-cut understanding because, my mom's a good woman, but I didn't learn from her how to pick good women, because I've had other friends of mine, too. If he's watching, Eddie Smith said the same thing. His parents are still married 40-plus years. He's like, I didn't learn nothing from my mom about no women. Because they weren't truthful about, like, this is what...
Right.
I know dads, watch out for these type of dudes. They do this kind of stuff because we've been out there. We know the game. Right. But we don't necessarily get the game from our moms, because sometimes they don't tell the truth of what they know, what they've seen, or what they've been through.
Yeah.
We don't get to hear. So we're kind of deer in headlights and get caught up in situations like, I didn't even see that coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So for I wonder how it is for the young men that are dating your women, your girls. Like, did they come from 2-parent households, or how are they necessarily, like, raised? Did they have that example so it's easy for them to accept and see that?
One of them 2-parent household.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Still married, and then the other one, I think the parents are.
I think on the other one, the parents are
the
separated, I believe.
Okay, but I think the formative years
they were together. Yeah.
I wonder how that takes a difference, because my dad and mom got divorced when I was 4, so I don't have memories of seeing them do their thing and how they interacted. And I also didn't get the negative side, because I've got friends that have seen the negative side of stuff, so I didn't really have anything to go off of. But still, that's a deficit for me.
Right.
So where I'm like, I know it's out there, but I didn't to see it in my own household. So, so when I got into the dating world, I didn't really have the example straight from home. It was more watching my teachers, watching my coaches, or watching other men in the community. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
So.
Wow.
I think that makes a difference sometimes when we're out there dating, because we don't even know what to look for, even though how old we are. We just don't have it ingrained in us.
And then you got to be careful of the bad advice you get.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because you listening to guys in the locker room in the neighborhood.
Right.
Which, I had 2-parent household, during my formative years, but back in that time it was different. My dad never sat me down and said, hey, look, let me explain, women to you.
Okay.
Or, let me explain how you interact and what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
see, I didn't even know that. I thought I would have got that from my dad, but that might not have been.
I didn't get, I got a lot from my dad, but that piece, I never really got that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was always looking, and I was always listening.
Okay.
And, I had older sisters.
Oh, okay.
And, I would hear, stuff that was relevant and was working.
Right.
And then I was hearing what dudes were saying in the locker room, and what they were saying, oh, man, this is what you got. Oh, man, this is what you need to do. This is what I... Right. And then I'm hearing the other side. I'm like, it's not adding up.
That's true.
So, that ain't really working. I know you say it's working, but that ain't really working.
I think I got the benefit of that because I grew up around mostly women.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard all the women stuff. Mm-hmm. I'll be seeing dudes like, that's hella corny, dog. That ain't going to work.
Right.
that's not going to work, dog, at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Well, with our daughters, what I did sit down and do with them, at least the 2 oldest ones, because they're close in age, is have a conversation about sex.
Okay.
And that was really eye-opening because I was asking about their anatomy. Like, did they even know the correct terms of their own anatomy? And, what could happen during sex? And just to understand where their IQ was, And, of course, they were kind of embarrassed. And, oh, Mom, I can't believe you're...
Yeah.
That you're talking to us about this. And I said, well, I don't want you to get it from the locker room or from some girls who've had horrible experiences, and they're sharing their horror stories.
Right.
So that has boded well. And then because I'm a love relationships coach, and especially during the pandemic, I was doing things via Zoom, so they were ear hustling.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to my Love Academy teachings and my preparation for partnership teachings, which is for
free classes.
Yeah. And so they put that stuff to practice. Mom, we were listening through the wall, So it really is being used because I see the difference in them and others that are in their peer group, and the kind of low quality, confused, insecure, or controlling and dominating and territorial men that some of their friends are attracting. And so I
would say this. I want to say, I've seen your daughters different places, and it's so funny because when I see them outside of when I see them in events, I'm like, I think I know her somewhere. I saw I forget which one it was. I saw her. I was at Panera Bread. And I just going there, mind my own business, sit down. But I kept walking past because I was getting some drink. And I went to the bathroom. I know this lady from somewhere. I don't know where. And then she's like, "Hello, Ed."
Hello.
She's like, "Debrena." I was like, "Oh, okay." But what was cool about it is like to see people outside the norm. It's like, oh yeah, she even without me knowing who that was, she was just doing her business and working on some project in calm nature type of thing. So you see people in different lights. You're like, no, actually, I've seen them out before, and they're just like the same people when I see them other places, and it's just random spots. Like, oh hey,
Right?
Yes.
So it's like, but I understand what you're saying when you're talking about having people where there's like turmoil. I'm an energy person, so when I walk in rooms, I can feel energy. And I know when I'm around people, I don't really take too long to figure out what this person's about, and I just know. So I have a calming spirit when I'm around certain people. So when I'm at your events, or if I saw your daughter, or I saw your parents, when I'm around you, you can calm my spirit. It's like you don't have to worry about like, oh, these people got all this other stuff going on. It's like, no, they're pretty consistent.
Right.
I see it in spaces where it's normal. Then I see them out of the spaces where you can't fake it over here. Like, I just saw you. I don't know what you're about, but I know what you just seem calm. You're just doing your thing. You can't fake that.
Right. So, That's real.
Yeah. So
you can't fake that.
Yeah. So, so we got the 31 years, almost 31 years coming in.
Yeah.
Got the 3 daughters. They're doing well. Let's transition into the business side of it. So I know, for example, you just launched your perfume line. I was there, and that was really dope.
Right.
I appreciated it.
My goodness.
I want a men's version because I want to put it on. I was like, can men wear this? Because I'm about to do this.
I've had really some good. Men inquire.
Yeah, I like it. I can't wear a lot of colognes. I don't even wear perfume because I have allergies. And so I've stopped wearing stuff like years ago. My allergies have gotten better, but I also do want to wear stuff. And when I smell, I didn't have no tingling situation in my nose or anything like that. And I've smelled it a few times where okay, this is actually pretty good. So
well, I was really going for a high-end luxury level. So there's really quality ingredients in there. So hopefully the things that when you've smelled perfume before would have you sneezing or eyes watering or whatever, not with Divine.
Yeah. And what's cool about that too, this goes back to something that I work with a lot of women's groups in general. Mostly women. It's like probably 90% of the people I work with are women-owned businesses type people. So to see that you guys partnered with the lady out of Boston or something,
House of Boucania, Black woman-owned perfumery. Yeah,
that was dope to see that. And what I wanted to talk about though is because you guys both have different personalities. You guys both do business, and we talked about is like. In the world that I'm in, it always seems competition. There's like this weird competition between black men and women. Like we're trying to one up each other all the time. And I don't see that with you guys. I see you're supporting your wife on whatever you're working on. I always see your family in general supporting each other. So it's kind of like, that's refreshing because that's not something we normally see. The narrative is, this person's trying to hate on this person and he don't want to see me shine or, all that kind of stuff. So how do you guys maintain the respect of supporting each other and your family through business and that?
Man, that's sad to hear that it's like that it's out there like that.
It is.
I mean, that's wow, that's tough.
Yeah,
but to me, I don't know. I can't speak on that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
I mean, if you're dating, maybe I could maybe could see some of that. But 31 years in, if you're married and you're a committed couple,
Right.
I just don't understand that whole competition piece and that whole hating piece.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Debrena, she was doing the work that she's doing when I met her
Okay.
on 23rd and Marion. She was doing that. I think the next week she had something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She was like, "Oh, I got this event. I'm having some ladies come over. I got the cabana in the apartment." And I didn't really understand what she was talking about, but
Yeah.
I knew she was doing something. She had the ladies coming over and all that. And I would support her then.
Okay.
If you need me to go bring the balloons, I can go get you know what I mean?
Oh, you see, you've been doing it since day one.
Since day one. Since day
Got him
one.
trained up early.
Yeah, since day one. If you need, whatever you need.
Yeah.
You need me to go get the cow, go get the cake.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so here it is 31 years later, and I'm still supporting.
Yeah.
It was never a competition thing for me. If you go out and do an event and make a little bit of money, I'm going to support you. You go out and do an event and make a whole bunch of money, I'm
Right.
still going to be supporting you. It's never been a
Nice.
competition thing for me.
Nice.
You go out. Now, some guys, it's not like that.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it myself personally. I've seen the competition between friends of mine and their spouses or their girlfriends. I can feel the energy. It's just like, yo, this is like
There's
this is
something.
weird. It's
Yeah, there's
like,
something there.
And I've had a young lady recently who I guess is going through a divorce, and I was kind of mentioning that earlier, that kind of brought that up, and I'm looking at her like she's telling me the story, but I'm looking at her totally different. I'm like, yo, that sounds horrible from the fact that you're telling me the story, but it sounds like as she was getting bigger in her thing, she got a different attitude. It's like, oh, okay. So,
Well, I think the other thing, gosh, this is such a yummy topic because it is a hot topic. I can't believe how much I hear from women about being in competition or feeling they're in competition with, or their boyfriend or husband's in competition with them. This is a new phenomenon. Okay. So after being a love relationships coach for 13 years, this conversation about competition within, it was always together competing out there.
Right.
So now we have created a civil war almost, and now we are competing. This is a new phenomenon, very dangerous, very unhealthy, very concerning. And so for example, I recognize Joe's gifts and talents and skills, especially those that are not the same ones I have.
Right.
Because if we have, let's say, a basketball team, a team sport, marriage is a team sport, so to speak, then if I know how to handle the ball and run a play, I'm not coveting the position of center who has rebounding and maybe height and rebounding ability because we're on the same team. So either you don't realize you're on the same team, or you're not realizing the contributions of your team member and you are devaluing them. Neither of those is true here. And then another important thing is we've always treated money I make, money Joe makes as our money.
right.
So if there was times where he's making more money, it wasn't like, oh, $2 have Joe's initial and $1 has mine.
Right.
It's $3 is ours.
Right.
So what are we going to do with our $3? It's a very important distinction because it amazes me how many married couples handle their money as if they are single roommates.
Yeah.
And it also is often based in trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slick ways people can have, and you can't be slick and be a good steward of your money in a marriage because you need to be forthcoming and disclosing. And, I can't, spend money on something big. And then Joe was like, oh, well, that money was for this. I didn't even know. I mean, so you have to have communication about it. You have to have agreement around values and money consciousness. And I mean, it's a lot that goes into that whole money piece. So, so we haven't had hardly any rub around money in 31 years. And so, but that our money piece is really important. And then what's interesting, when I talk to a lot of wives that are boss chick types, which, as a category, I fall under that, I suppose, because I own a business, I'm a CEO. But boss chick type is a little bit
But you
different.
act differently though.
I'm a boss chick,
Because
but
I've
I'm
heard you
not.
say that a couple of times. And I was like, I'm looking around the room and all the ladies like, yeah. But I'm like, yeah, but y'all different though. They don't know the difference.
Right. So
There's a difference.
So I have some of the characteristics just in terms of being over a company.
Yeah.
But those are the ones who I hear talk about being competition, who have overly masculinized energy.
Right.
And a heterosexual man's already bringing enough masculine energy. He doesn't need a plus to more masculine energy. He
Right.
wants you to bring the feminine energy. That's what's complementary
Right.
versus creating friction. So when I hear that we're in competition, I'm like, if I could be a video camera, I probably see a little too much directed, edgy energy coming from the woman, and that is creating a response, not even always conscious. We're animals first, and creating a response for men. So, and then a lot of boss chick types really are not good team players in their marriages.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
They think they are. I ask a few questions, and it's like, thumbs down. What? I said, oh, so you had a certain way you wanted the decision to go.
Right.
And you all ended up going left, and you said, we better go right. We need to go right. And left didn't work out.
Right.
And then you come back and rub it in his face. I said, you are a piss poor team member. What? I told him we should have gone right, and this wouldn't have. I said, hold up.
Right.
You weren't in sports, were you? Because when
see,
you're in a team sport,
I'm tapping on that.
right?
Yeah,
So
sports.
if I'm in the field and the pitcher just walked two people and we're
Right.
playing softball, I am not saying, what are you doing? Yelling from the outfield or first base. You just walked two people. You're pumping them up.
Right.
It's all right. It's all right. Here we go. You got.
Yeah.
So there's some basic fundamentals of high-performing teams and winning teams. So many marriages aren't even acting like a losing team, not to mention a winning team. And so, that's part of it too, Ed.
I actually use that as examples a lot.
You glad I called it out? You guys are like, I'm glad you said that. You said it, not us.
Debrena said I didn't say it. I was thinking it. Because I know the difference of women that play sports and who haven't. Like, man, it didn't have to just be sports. Maybe you were on cheerleading or you was in music or something like that, band, choir. Because you all have a part to play, and you started off and you were horrible. And you had to get better through practice and things of that nature. And then you got coaching. Somebody gave you some coaching. Like, now that doesn't sound good, or your left hand's weak, or you can't shoot. Go do another drill. You out of shape. Go to the gym. All those different things that you have to do, because if you want to play on that team, you got to be an integral piece of that team. And you might not be that good, but you're still on the team. But
Even on the bench.
Even on the bench.
Right.
You got to support. You got to do all the things you're supposed to, and then get
right.
better. And I see so many people, and I'm like, oh, they didn't play on no teams. You could just tell. I've won championships with people. I've been on swim meets. I've been track. I've done basketball. And I was horrible at basketball. It's like the last sport I played, but I got really good because I was coachable. And I've seen so many people like this. We know we've done business stuff where we had people, they're not even coachable. Like, let's get them out of here.
Right.
So,
oh my goodness. Yeah, Joe played basketball through college and was a year-round athlete. And I played sports through high school, and then all of our daughters were very athletic, and so that is very important, especially team sports where you've been on a team sport, and you know how to recover from a loss, right? You know how to reflect, like watching the tape afterwards in the locker room so we can see where did we go wrong,
right?
All those are skills that come to bear in a juicy marriage or a juicy love relationship. And so that goes back to that question of mentality, right? Where I'm like, you all are charged with picking a good wife or a woman, but you have to know what the recognition indicators are so you can recognize it, then to pick her. And so when I ask brothers, how do you know? They're like, she cooks well. That's a skill.
Right.
That's not a character trait. Right. Yeah, you can hire someone to cook, and then they're like, oh man, we really don't know. Thank you for acknowledging that. Now we can get on with this, the relationship seminar. So yeah.
And I thought it was very. All my daughters I had in sports.
Okay.
I mean, I just believed in that. You know what I mean? Call me crazy. Some people say, "Oh, you just wish you had a son and you just want him to play." I just thought it was important to get them in early.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that team, and to learn how to compete.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the main thing.
Right.
Along with all that other stuff, I mean, you got to go out there and compete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, whether it be, and no, my oldest daughter, she was tall and lanky, right? And I always envisioned, I was like, ooh, wow, long, lanky point guard, looking over the defense. Yeah, I'm like, Magic was a big point guard.
Yeah.
First day of practice, okay, that's not her thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew that's not her thing. But you're gonna be involved in something.
Right.
It don't got to be sports or basketball. But she was into dancing and arts and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do something.
Right.
In addition to your school and your homework and all that.
Right.
And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Yeah.
That kind of ties into something too. It's kind of, I'm a guy, so when I say it, I'm not trying to attack black women or women in general. But your girls are in shape.
Yeah, they're fit.
They're fit.
But that was intentional too.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's something that they are.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because if you go in the landscape of our people, black men and women, most on average are not. Yeah. Especially, it's like I got friends of mine that are like 15 years younger than me. And I'm so much more fit they are. And I'm not even trying right now. Like I'm just getting back into it. And I'm just looking at them like, well, you might not make it to my age. Because
right.
you're just not even trying. You're not even at a reasonable level right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
the fact that you guys have raised daughters that have that mindset, because I see the opposite in our community. Like we're talking about dating. It's not just the women, it's the men too. Like the baseline is not even there.
Right.
It's like, where are you going to go from that? Like,
well, I always thought because, most mothers were doing the grocery shopping.
Right.
And the cooking. So that's a lot of power in a household just to determine what goes into the bodies of your family members. And I would see too many kids, not adults, kids that were overweight, that were sedentary, even obese,
right,
in our community. And unless they have some, rare medical condition, then that's
everybody tries to say they got the thyroid and shit.
Yeah.
Like
that's an effect, by the way. That's an effect, not a cause, right? And so I said, well, if I have children, and this is, when I was not even married, I'm still single, I said, if I have children, I'm going to set their mindset so that they eat foods that don't put weight on their bodies. They're going to want to move. They're going to want to exercise. They'll have positive association with it.
Right.
They won't be feeding after McDonald's and the Golden Arches like so many little kids recognize McDonald's from like age 3 and 4.
As soon as you said I can taste the fries.
Right. They're going to be feeding after Subway.
Oh, yeah.
And so, if they all had a sport that we had to take them to, then a treat was to go to Subway. Mm. And it was because I said to them one day, we have a Subway sandwich, we have a McDonald's Big Mac.
Right.
And let's take a look at what's on the sandwiches, and let's take a look at what's best for your body, because it's made up more of something that was in the ground, meaning it has roots instead of hooves and eyeballs. And so they're like, which one has lettuce? Which one has tomato? Which one has onions and peppers? And,
right.
Subway. So then they would be saying Subway, not McDonald's, when it would come time to have to get something quick. Okay. So even choices like that, I would take them grocery shopping. Okay, let's take a look. And let's look at the vegetables. How long ago were they in the ground versus what's in this box? Oh. And it was processed. A machine had to do it. This is pulled, washed on the shelf. Which is better for your body? And so How
old were they when you were doing that? Like when they were little kids, or?
They were like 5, 6, 7, and 8. So they had language, but they had rationalization skills. So teaching them how to make choices that work for their body. So they're not just slim, trim, and our oldest daughter is an art model.
Okay.
And a lot of her modeling is with only like a small drape over her, so she's showing a lot of body, and the reason she's paintable is because she has a beautiful physique. Yeah. And so so that was intentional. And I said, I know you can have fit black kids. They do not have to have the handles, on the side from eating all of the carb and boxed and, and so that's what you see as the result. 3 for 3, fit, trim. We would go to the gym together,
really? Okay.
Go down. We live near the water.
You don't even see that. You don't see, I don't go to the gym as much as I should, but when I was, I didn't see whole
families.
families of black people. I mean, there's a few, but it wasn't. It was a rare occasion to see a whole black family come up in there just doing their fitness. You know, even husband and wife actually. You know, tell the truth.
Yeah, we go
and
work
now
out.
I don't see that many of us in the gym anyway.
Yeah.
And then in the summertime, you might see us out and about, but you never see us like hiking. One of my friends, she just got back from a hike. I was hanging out with her yesterday. She's a African lady, and she just went up to Rattlesnake. I told her, don't do that stuff by yourself. And so I gave her some insight on like, yo, we live in a dangerous world. There are real things and predators and stuff like that. And I even told her, you need to carry some stuff with you. You know, not just because of the predators. Like, what if you got stuck out there? You know, you might not survive the night because you ain't got no blanket.
That's right. That's right.
But just to know that she's even thinking like that, because she talks about, she was doing it for mental, trying to get her mentals together, like physical and mental all tied together.
Yeah.
And I see it in our community, like we have so much anxiety, we got so much obesity, and a lot of times
different
substance abuse. Yeah,
maybe sugar. And I'm not just talking drugs.
I have a sugar
alcohol.
addiction, and I've been trying to. Over the years, trying to get away from that. Like, I'm better now, but ever so often it spikes, and I'm like, oh, okay. But it also coincides with I'm not exercising, I'm not getting my sleep. So I try to get my sleep better now.
But one of the other things, too, you have to do that. I mean, I had my kids in sports, and that was a lot of instances against their will.
Okay.
They didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to do it.
They're like, what?
We don't want to do it, and that don't make sense. And you know, but you're
better though.
But I knew better, right? You know, and so I had them in it, and they pushed through, and you just don't quit. And my daughter, she asked me, my middle daughter Kiana, she asked me to sign her up for football.
Oh, okay.
And she was about what, 9 or 10? She was 9. So 89er, she was like, Dad, sign me up. I want to play. Because I had her in rec league basketball, right?
Yeah.
First level, well, she goes out, man. She kills it. First game, she had like 30 points. So I'm pumping her up. The ref is like pumping her, like, who is this kid? And I've been pumping her, and her head was jacked up after.
Because that sounds like a young Takia Jackson. Takia played football too.
Right.
And she was an all-American basketball player.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
And so she asked me, Dad, sign me up. And I was like, I'm not trying to sign you up for football.
Team.
Yeah. Right. I want you to be in athletics, but I don't want to sign you up. So I let it go, right?
Okay.
She came back. Dad, did you sign me up? I was like, are you serious? You want to play football with the boys? Yeah. Tackle football? Yeah. I want to play. Sign me up.
Not flag.
So I said, okay, I'll sign you up, right? And still, I was like, I'll see if she comes back again. I'm not running down there. Dad, did you go down there and sign me up? So I said, okay, I'm going to sign you up, right? So we went down to Rainier and signed her up for football. She went for about a week. I was like, after one of the practice, she said, Dad, I think I got a fraction. I'm like, a fraction? You got a fraction? They had you out there doing math? Boy, I know they ain't had you out there doing math. Yeah, I think I said, you mean a concussion? Yeah. I think
fracture.
No, she said a fraction.
But she meant fracture. She meant concussion.
She meant concussion. When I explained, I'm like, "You mean a concussion?" She was like, "Yeah." My head is like, right. And so I was like, so she wanted to quit. And I was like, "No, don't quit. Just stick it out the whole year. Just stick it out. Next year you don't got to go back. But you signed up. You're on the team. You can't quit on the team."
I like that. Yeah.
We had to have a pep talk with her. Over one weekend, she was done. And only girl on the team. Some of the coaches didn't even know they had a girl on the team. Oh, wow. She had her hair back in, cornrows, and she was so, they didn't even know they had a girl on the team.
But that's one of her proudest. Yes. She hasn't come out and said it directly, but that's one of her proudest moments. She's proud to be on. I was on the team, and going back looking at the pictures.
And they were champions.
Oh, yeah, they were champions.
Oh,
yeah.
That's character building. Because I know
that's character building.
Takia has that story. I had just moved she's a little bit younger than me. She played football, and I couldn't play football. So people think I play football. I was a swimmer from Spokane. I was a dope swimmer. They didn't have no swimmers in the hood, and a lot of racism was going on during that time.
Right.
They lie about the schedules and meets and stuff like that. But I was at the YMCA, and I heard about a girl playing football. And they used to tease me about it. There's a girl playing football. Yeah, but that girl ended up being All-American Takia Jackson. And when she talks about it, like all the guys talk about that too. Like, yeah, she was on that team delivering hits.
Right.
She has that character of like never giving up. She's always like, she had 3 knee surgeries when she was playing at UCLA. Every single time she came back to the point where she couldn't do it no more. But that spirit of like not giving up
Right.
You know, she's an educator now. She's over at Berkeley. She's the director of diversity affairs or something like that
Okay.
at Berkeley. And she's always been leading. She's always leading the charge in education. She was a counselor over at Washington Middle School. She's also the state legislation or curriculum. She was a part of that. But there's a mentality of never giving up. You know,
it'll serve you well.
Yeah.
It'll serve you
Yeah.
well.
and I think that's for all kids. I mean, I look at all. I'm glad I play sports because I have that mentality. Like I don't care if I start at the bottom.
Right.
Time and energy. I'll
Right.
be good. I'll be better.
Yes.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So,
And then I think also for women, it also, and it may be the same for men too, but it also builds body esteem.
Oh,
Because your body, instead of something you always gotta, beautify and have look a certain way, and it's your enemy if you're overweight or doesn't look the way you want. When you were in sports, especially if you had some successes or even dance or gymnastics or cheer or whatever, you have a different relationship with your body.
that's true. Yeah.
And it's an ally instead of an enemy. And it becomes a means to some other ends versus just, daily getting around and all that. So
Right.
that's also really powerful as well. Your relationship to your body and your body esteem is very different, I think, when you have been a girl in sports.
Yeah, I see that. Most of the ladies I know that have played sports are pretty good shape still. Same thing with the dudes. Outside of football players, they don't do well if they don't do other sports because you can't play football all the time unless they transition to something else. Can't keep on eating.
That's a good point.
A lot of football guys are way out of shape,
And they're used to eating. Yeah, they're used to eating all the
big
time.
calories. But most of the basketball type of dudes or track guys, they kind of stay, relatively pretty, whatever.
Yep.
I fluctuate, but it's like 20 pounds. Like, I could lose that. It's harder to lose now, but
But when you hit that point, it's time to come back
I'm
down.
like, what the heck am I doing?
Right,
My back
right,
hurt,
right.
My knees hurt.
Right.
This ain't good. Let me do something about this.
Right.
Even if I know it's just, I know the basics to get back to.
If you're right, you know what to do.
Yeah, I'm just
what to do.
Even now, I got all this equipment over there. I don't use all that no more. Like push-ups and sit-ups. That's all I need.
The basics.
Go walk.
The basics. That's all you need.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked about the 31 years coming up, the marriage. We talked about your daughters on healthy routines for them and the mindset. We talked about a little bit of business and about not having competition between you two, being able to build your family, build your community.
One thing I wanted to add, don't forget what your question is. Because, Joe was talking about, he's been supportive from day one. So his support of me may look like helping out with, because I do a lot of live events. But for example, just today, for example, him and some of his family members are creating a real estate company together, and they're going to start doing investing projects together.
Nice.
Well, one of my gifts, talent, skills is systems, structure, order, documents, those kind of contracts, agreements. And so I said, I think this might be helpful. This might be helpful. This might be helpful.
Okay.
And it wasn't just me saying, I think it might be helpful. It's here. I produced the document, or let me review the operating agreement. Here's the feedback. Or so that's also not necessarily his forte. He'd rather go out and find a good deal versus putting together a project management agreement or operating agreement. Well, I can do that with my eyes closed because I worked in family business. My dad did a lot of training with me around contracts and agreements and not being intimidated and you want it to hold up in a court of law if anything goes down and things that most people wouldn't think of. I think, hey, I never thought about that. Yeah, let's put that in there. So that's a small example of how, my gifts and talents can contribute to his business or a project he's working on.
Right.
And it's taking nothing from me. It's certainly taking nothing from him. And his win is my win and my win is his win. And we're clear about that. So, it's not difficult to do. You want your partner, your beloved to win. You want to win.
Yeah.
You want to be a winning team. So that's why for us to, competition, what? It seems like it would be hard to be in competition.
Right.
That just seems effortful. And so that's just an example just to balance it out. Of,
I like that.
Of a way, that my support of him as one way. I remember when...
Stellar.
Yeah, when I'm like, honey, how are you keeping track of your appointments? Because he had would have a chiropractic appointment, a massage appointment, and he would be relying on the automated system to call and remind him. I'm like, oh no,
That's me too.
We can't do that, and you're about to restart your real estate, and
if you don't call and with that reminder, don't look for no 24-hour refund or whatever.
Oh no, you're getting charged.
Right. But if you don't hit me with that reminder, don't look for that. Don't look for that charge. You're not getting that charge. I'm not paying you.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, you're not.
If you hit me with the reminder and I don't show up,
yeah,
that's one thing. But if I don't get that reminder and you're like, well, sir, we that,
yeah,
you're not getting that.
And so
you're not getting that.
Money to some place because I got the reminder and I'm like,
oops.
Oh, my phone was off. I didn't.
Right, I'm like, and so I'm like, it's really not on them to remind you of your appointment. And so
that's true, but
and so I said, and then I got him a planner so he could write his appointments when he has his meeting, a place to take notes. He didn't say, hey, honey, will you get me one? I'm just like, oh, I can see. And the chance of him sitting down and choosing one and knowing what, he probably wouldn't have got it. And so that's
thing.
Right. So that's
not when they're calling.
Nah.
They calling.
Yeah.
So that's a form of support as well. That helps my team member.
That's huge. Organization.
So those are just a couple examples. Yeah.
Jolene got me on the planner thing.
Oh yeah.
Years ago.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, we was going through Landmark.
Okay.
And, between her and I can't think of her name right now. She's gonna be mad at me. But Jolene and a couple other ladies, they were going through.
Wasn't Michelle one of them? No, not Michelle.
She was there, but it wasn't. Rainy.
Rainy. Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, what's up? What you got? What's your schedule?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Look, next time we see you, you better have a planner."
Oh
wow.
Planner. Like, what kind of I get? I don't even know what to get. I was like,
planner.
It was like, yeah, you need a planner that has a monthly this and notes. And I started doing. I haven't done it recently, but I'm going back to it because it's hard for me to keep track of everything. Mm-hmm. Even when trying to do this motivated life stuff, I have to schedule people to be here. Yep. I got to have certain things in place. I got the Airbnb stuff going on. I'm like constantly looking at my phone. Mm-hmm. I was like, this ain't gonna work too much longer. I need a better system in place.
Yeah,
but I go back on what I've learned from even working with you. It's like I'm not that type of person. I don't like. I like details. I can do details, but that's not my thing. I like big picture thinking, and I see the systems. Yeah. But like even this house, I can do all this, but all the little fine details, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I get to 85%, I'm done. But it's a little 15% that somebody else in Airbnb is going to be checking on, like, yo, that's horrible.
That's right. So imagine if you picked a woman who had an eye for those details, so now 100% is done. Right. Mm-hmm. You did the piece that was your natural gift, and she noticed a little, we need a plant here, and let's straighten that out. Yeah. And then together, what the team can produce is better than either of you could do individually. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jolene.
Without the competition.
Yeah. I've been in situations with the competition. It's like, oh, this is horrible. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of effort. Isn't it a lot of work?
Yeah, but then
to be in that competition.
I look at it as like it's a lot of work, but it's also the trust thing. Because if you're competing with people, because I mean, even you mentioned like when you guys first met, your boy, it's like, yeah, you guys in friendly competition, but life goes on. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to undercut you later on.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make sure they're not together.
Right.
You start seeing that in certain relationships, like, yo, I can't trust you now because you are competing with me in a different way. Like when I play sports, I was pretty bad at basketball because I didn't know the rules. I was so late in the game. Mm-hmm. I got my opportunity because somebody got hurt. Mm-hmm. I wasn't wishing him to get hurt.
Right.
When my boy Dorian Hunter twisted his ankle, he was gone for like 3 or 4 weeks. But I was really good, but I just was scared. Once I got my opportunity, it was like, okay, lights on me. This is nervous. Right. I've been wanting this.
Right, now here it is.
But I didn't want him to get hurt.
Right.
Like, we're on the same team. Like, he's a good player. He never came back afterwards. Oh. But I got a scholarship because I got really good. But it became, I wanted him to be on the team. I wanted him to play because we're a team.
Right.
We want to win. He's dope. Like, this guy's really good. Like,
right.
It's just me. Like, I don't want to. I didn't look for people to get hurt for me to have an opportunity.
Because you was going to get it regardless.
Yeah, I'm going to eventually get my time.
Yeah.
When I see people's relationships too, it's like, don't you all want to be at a higher level together? Or you just want to be at the mountaintop by yourself so you can look around? Like, I did it by myself.
Right.
So
it's better together. That's for sure.
So hopefully when people watch
Tracy
this.
said that.
I was about to say that.
Better together.
Don't get mad at Tracy. Tracy, I didn't.
Shout out.
That's Tracy.
Yeah, I stole that. I stole that from Tracy.
I paused real quick. I didn't say that. That's trademark, I think.
Yeah, she might have a trademark.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
What are the things you guys got coming up on the new horizon? You got 2024 coming up. You have any I don't know if you guys do goals or things that you're trying to think about for the next year.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that one of the things I think it's important when you're married that you all have some certain practices and rituals that keep your foundation strong. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things we usually do, at the beginning of the year and like halfway through the year, we try to get together to share goals. So we're going to, go away for a little getaway for our anniversary. So either over breakfast or dinner, after we finish watching the football game.
That's right.
We both like sports, so I can hang in some conversation about football and stuff, which that's really cool. But
it's important.
But while we are on our little getaway, we will, nothing heavy and intense, but just, well, honey, what are your personal goals? What are your business goals? What are your family goals? What are your, wellness goals or whatever? And then I'll share mine.
Okay.
And then we will have some together. And so that's something we do when we come back halfway through the year. If we need to have a special meeting about finances, especially because you want to keep an eye on those things and be sure you're in one accord, then we'll call a special meeting to, discuss something. So we will do that.
Okay.
That will be happening while we're on our little getaway. And it will be pleasant. It won't be,
no torture.
They'll be listening. No torture and no spreadsheets or, it's like nothing that intense, but being aware of what the other is focusing on. So I just wanted to say that. So you're about to share some of the things you're...
No, that's basically what I was going to say. But sharing that stuff so we can be in support of, because those resolutions and stuff at the beginning of the year, without support, I know I need support in mine,
right,
just to make it for 6 months, let alone a whole year,
right.
So sharing that kind of stuff makes it easy to support.
Okay.
Well, I'm moving into some new territory with this love relationship piece taking a bigger slice of my time, which is really exciting. And just earlier today, as a matter of fact, I know you're a camera, artistic, production, movie, video guy. But there's
amongst other things,
Renaissance man, right? I've called you that. But there's a new show that has a young black woman as the host. It's kind of like our evening magazine that we have here in the region.
Oh, yeah.
But it's called Back to Besa. And so she's a millennial African-American woman. And the things that they showcase are going on in communities of color.
Yeah.
And so I made a pitch to them about being their love relationships expert. And the deal is sealed.
Nice.
And so I will be a recurring guest on the Back to Basics show.
Oh, okay.
So that is hecka cool. And Converge Media does the production for the show, and it airs on Channel 13, Q13.
Oh, that's dope, yeah.
So that's exciting. Sealed that deal literally just right before Christmas, and just had a production meeting today to lay out, the topics. So that's a new thing. There's another really popular YouTube channel where I'm the recurring relationship guest after being on a few times, and it's like, whoa, we need to have you back again and again. And so that'll kick off in January. So those are a couple of the new things among some other, new stuff. But, doing that kind of media work and being that returning person, I think is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So those are a couple of new things that I have coming up down the pike. The Love Lies is in paperback now, brand new, which is a cause for a whole new promotional campaign anytime your book comes out in a new version. So
I got the hardback here. I have it back there somewhere.
Okay. Well, it's now out in paperback as of just a few days ago. So so those are some of the kind of things that I'll be, putting some attention and focus on.
Very good.
How can I hate on that? You know what I'm saying? How can I do anything except support that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope.
So to do anything other than that, man, it's just I don't understand it.
It's uncivilized.
I just look at it like, because I know, I just like the fact, because when I see it, I've said it before, like when I was at Elevate, this past one and the year before, when when your brother was a part of the panel too.
Yeah,
and hearing
yeah.
and your sister was a part of it too, and seeing all the stories and seeing people talk about it, and then talking to you, seeing how you're always supporting, you're always there, and I'm just kind of seeing the energy flow. It's like even with your brother, it's like you don't see competition. It's like I just peep and I pay attention in the rooms. Like I see your sister there. It's like you guys are proud of her. You can see how people are proud of each other. And I'm like, okay, I can see the example of greatness in your guys' family and the structure and the your whole family. And so I see it from that standpoint, but then I also see in the community we need more of that because I don't think a lot of people have been around that. I don't think a lot of people have had wins. Like I know what it's like to win a championship. I know it's also like to be one of the worst players, and I need the coaching. And it took years. It took a lot of work to get to even a basic level where I could even get off the bench and play, let alone actually be a starter or something like that. But I just don't see enough people in our community that have the wins. So maybe that's why they have the competition thing. And it's like, oh, I never felt good about my situation, so now I got my degree or I got this business. Oh, I'm about to step out and be my thing, and everybody else is crap.
Right.
So I see what you guys are used to. Competing, used to having wins, used to having losses, right? And coming back from that situation and building each other up. And I think that's something I see with you guys, because I've heard Nate talk about his story. He wasn't always a top dude doing comedy. He was like just wishing to be there, and now he's there. But it's been a lot of people say, "Oh, he's lucky." Is he? It's like there's a lot of work that goes into that stuff. Same thing with you guys. It's like you guys are not lucky to get to 31 years. It's like you guys have been putting the work in, and most people would quit when it starts getting difficult.
And before they finally get the hang of it, because marriage is the PhD of all human relationships, and most divorces happen between 8 and 10 years, but you don't really, I think, get the hang of it until about year 14, 15. Wow. They never even experience the juiciest, benefits and experience of it, because they couldn't even make it, past 8 years.
Ouch. Okay.
Quit too soon. 20 really, to me, is 20 is like where it really kicked in, and I really started to get it. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I see what everybody's talking about.
I feel the same way about 20.
It really kicked in.
Wow.
Wow.
And started to really understand it. Okay. Because you think I mean, 10 years, you think I mean, what else could you learn about a person after 10 years? You know what I mean? That's just the beginning, because you're constantly learning and discovering and,
Or should be.
Back.
So, I mean, I guess we're going to wrap it up, though, because we've talked about a lot of good things. And so going into the new year, you guys have your goals set up. You're going to be doing some shows. I know you're talking about real estate, things of that nature. So one is just, look forward to the upcoming year and seeing Black people win. Because that's one thing I do enjoy, going to your events and just seeing, like, Converge Media. You mentioned Converge Media, to see how they've been going. And we're incorporating each other in our stories. And you guys are on my show. And it's like, I've been at your events and seeing what you guys are doing. So it's kind of like I see us, the energy of our people coming back together and working with each other and not being like you said, we're not competing. Like, I actually win seeing you guys win. I'm like, oh, these guys are doing dope. Yeah, I need to do my thing. I'm tired. Let me get my systems in place. I've been talking about that lately too. I need my systems. In place so I can do better and take on more challenges, but also know how to rest, because I know you guys take your time to rest too. So that's important for me to start getting my schedule together, so I know when I can take a break, but I know when I can go hard too, and then slow down and do something else. So I say all to say, I appreciate you guys being on the show. For me, it's a win too, because I have this vision. I've had it for a long time, since I was a kid. I've always wanted to do a show. Always wanted to act. I've always wanted to do all these different things, but I never put it all together because I was going the safe route with corporate and doing this and that. And I was like, oh, F all that. Excuse me, French. This is what I love to do. And seeing your brother win. I said, oh, Nate's doing this. He hit me up when I was at the show. He said, I heard you doing the studio. He's like, yeah, I'm building one too. We talked about it. I was like, yeah, we all thinking the same way. Yeah. We're all moving in that direction of building our own thing and believing that we could do it. Yeah. And putting the energy towards it, and versus just being like, oh, I'm just thinking of it. Right. So I just want to encourage everybody that's watching this too. It's like, these things don't just start overnight. We have these dreams maybe when you're kids or when you're younger adults, but if you don't ever work on them, they will never materialize. And one day you'll just be looking around and be like, I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
You know,
Absolutely.
if you didn't say hi to this dude and
and I didn't put that chicken down. Sometimes you got to put the chicken down.
Right.
I put the chicken down.
You don't want to miss the opportunity. You got to
That's
put
right.
the chicken
Put
down.
the chicken down.
There you go.
And then don't be afraid to support. You know,
Yeah.
just don't be afraid to support somebody else's efforts and endeavors and
Right.
what have you, because it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that message. So, y'all, we've talked for a while. This is Motivated Life. We've had two wonderful guests. We had Debrena Jackson Gandy and Joe Gandy on the show.
Yes, sir.
So we out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
Good stuff.
All right.